You know how sometimes you're playing Mario Kart with your friends and somebody's all the way back in 12th place. They get that bullet, they come rearing up, and then the worst part, other than them taking place of first place, sometimes they hit you and knock you off the course. Well, it feels like the Tennessee Volunteers have dodged that bullet, okay? And I'm going to get into that, but I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the quarterback situation and why I think the Tennessee Vols are far better off with Joey Aguilar at the helm. I need you guys to do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, okay? Let's poke a little bit of fun. Every sub we get today is a future loss for the Alabama Crimson Tide. My goal is to get 50 future losses on their schedule just off today's video alone. If you love the Vols, if you love what's been going on with Alabama in the last 3 days, then you'll do me one big favor. Hit that sub button. It's free, it's big, it's red, it's easy to do, and it locks you in for daily coverage right here on Tennessee Football Talk. So, it's obvious that Joey Aguilar had a really, really good debut performance, okay? Now, was it perfect? No, and I have never told you that, and I never will tell you that about his performance against Syracuse. But I still think, nonetheless, even though it wasn't perfect, it was very, very impressive, especially for a guy who's been here only since May. The completion percentage, I'd like to see it a little bit higher going forward, right? He missed a lot of guys high. There also were a couple of drops here and there, but 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, all with 0 interceptions is something to be very, very happy about. There were 2 questions that I had going into Joey Aguilar taking over at quarterback going into the 2025 season, okay? The first question was, could he limit the turnovers? I think that was the biggest talking point pretty much from everybody across a football national media narrative. Everybody was saying, guys, he turned the football over a ton in JUCO. He turned the football over a ton in Appalachian State, and they're not wrong, right? That was a massive, massive problem for him. 6 and 4 interceptions that had stopped prior to when he was at Appalachian State. And then his last 2 seasons with the Mountaineers, he went 10 interceptions and 14 interceptions. And we all know that a Josh Heupel offense prides itself on keeping the football as long as it can, and that stops, or starts, I guess I could say, with keeping the ball to your team. So that was my first question. Could he limit the turnovers through game 1? 0 interceptions. Looks like he's done that. My second question was, could he take advantage of the open opportunities he's going to get down the field? The wide open wide receivers. The guys running absolutely naked. And through one game, I'm talking the deep shot to Braylon Staley, it looks like that's not going to be a problem for him either. So on today's show, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the debuts of Nico Iamaleava for his new team with UCLA, look at the debut of Joey Aguilar with his team in UCLA, and I'm going to tell you why this is even more exciting. I'm talking Joey Aguilar's debut when it is compared to what Nico did with UCLA. And I'm going to convince you at the end of the day, if you're not already convinced, that Tennessee truly dodged a bullet with Nico going into the portal. Let's start with just the statistics overall. 50% completion percentage, only 136 yards to the air for Nico, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So the stats kind of show you it was not his best day. And the film, it's going to replicate that, I promise you. We start with what we saw a lot last year. It was just a blatant overthrow. At this point, they're only down 1 touchdown. You hit this guy in stride right here. There is a good chance because that cornerback at the bottom of your screen isn't even looking at him. He absolutely takes this to the house. But my biggest thing with Nico, it wasn't necessarily just his lack of hitting the deep ball. It was his lack of just being a quarterback and being able to go through progressions. You see right here, he's looking at that wide receiver that's just above the 3rd and 6th graphic, bottom of the U. Okay, that guy circled in orange to your right. He stays looking at him through the entirety of his progression, or I guess of this play. He goes, still looking at him, right? Now, there's that other guy in orange at the top of your screen. Because Nico didn't go through his progressions, because he just stuck to one receiver the entirety of that time, that quarterback is on the ground. That guy will be wide open, okay? I don't care where the safety is. He's going to be able to complete that football, but he doesn't because he locks on to one receiver. You see it again here. This time it's 3rd and 11. He actually doesn't end up throwing this football, but you can see where he's going. Right from the snap of the ball, you can see that game clock is at about 5, right? We go to our next picture. The guy's run 10 yards at this point. Nico hasn't taken his vision off him one time. This ends up in a sack, 3rd and 11. You got to punt the ball away, down 13 already just in the first quarter. Now let's go to the second half, right? Because it wasn't just that bad, was it? No, it was that bad. They're down 23-7. It's 1st and 10. They need a big shot. They need a big play. They got a guy wide open. He's crossed the first down marker. Guess what? Nico overthrew him as well. And it really just looks like nothing has changed. And again, I'm not just harping on the deep ball. That's not my biggest thing with Nico. My biggest thing with Nico was that he was one read and dip. That was it. That was all he was capable of doing. I'm going to predetermine where I'm going to throw this football. And if that guy isn't open, then I'm going to run. That's not how you play quarterback. That's how you play maybe 7-on-7, but that's not how you play quarterback, especially not in the SEC. Him leaving Tennessee truly might have been the best thing for this team, for Josh Heupel, definitely for Joey Aguilar. And speaking of Joey Aguilar, we're going to take a look at his film, okay? We're going to take a look at the things he did that I was incredibly impressed with this past Saturday. His ability to play the position of quarterback, to go through all his progressions, to not just be one read and dip. It's really, really great stuff. Be honest with me, okay? Vol Nation, did you hate watch the Nico game? You can be real. You can tell me the truth because I did. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. And we're here in Dallas, Texas right now. I was in Boston, Massachusetts over the weekend, so it was an Eastern time game for me. 11 p.m. Guess what? I didn't care. I was locked in. And I was really, really happy I was. Let me know if you hate watch as well in the comment section down below. Alrighty, it is time to get into the Joey Aguilar film. Again, it's not just the stat sheet that impressed me. It's what he was able to do on a down-to-down basis, okay? We're going to start right here with this first clip. The guy circled in red at the bottom of your screen, Miles Kitselman, I believe. Maybe it's Ethan Davis. I think it is Ethan Davis. He is his first read. And the wide receiver on the top of your screen, I believe that's Mike Matthews, is the second read. So what Joey Aguilar is doing here, he's looking at that linebacker in the middle of the field. It looks like they're playing cover 2. And he's going to make his throw depending on what that linebacker does. That linebacker is all over Ethan Davis. So you see what he does next play. He just absolutely rips it across the field. You know what? Davis is covered. I'm going to go to my second progression. I'm going to rip it, and I'm going to complete that pass for a first down. Connor, can you do me a favor? Can you go back to the picture before this, right? And I'm going to tell you how, quickly he made that decision. Now go back to that other one. That's like only 3 yards of makeup space from any of those pass rushers. It tells you how quickly he made that choice, how quickly he made that throw. Of course, that resulted in the first down. This is my most impressive play from the weekend. This is the touchdown pass to Star Thomas. So you can see he's got the ball in his hands. Look how many progressions he goes through in this play alone. He starts off by looking at the safety, who it seems like he's playing pretty far down. Then he turns his vision to the right. Now he's looking at that other safety who's playing the quote-unquote deep half of that end zone. Then he goes even further to the right. I don't know who's playing wide receiver over there. Looks at that guy. Doesn't like anything he sees. Protection is good. He steps up in the pocket, rolls out to his left, but he's not done looking for open receivers because now he's looking at the back of the end zone. Who's open in the back of the end zone? Okay, he's covered. Let me go look at my left. I see Star Thomas. I see the quarterback looking at Star, not at me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip a ball, and I'm going to put a perfect placement. Only where Star Thomas can get it. And what does that do? That results in a touchdown. Guys, this was incredibly impressive. And what I'm impressed most with is his ability to run the offense. His ability to play quarterback. Being a quarterback isn't just throwing the football. It's knowing where to look. It's knowing where to go with it if you see a certain coverage. Right? That other play we showed you, if that linebacker doesn't stick with Ethan Davis, if he floats out to the kind of lower half of the field, he's going to rip that to Ethan. I can promise you that. Okay? I just really liked pretty much everything that I saw. So tell me, grade Aguilar's performance against Syracuse in the comment section down below. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. I know you might not be in school anymore, but play teacher regardless. Get those red pins out and let me know what that grade is. And this all comes down to what we talked about since the very beginning, just more experience. He's far more experienced than any guy in this quarterback room, than Nico Iamaleava, than anybody, right? 41 career collegiate games played compared to Jake and George. We knew that, yes, this was going to be a quarterback battle, but we knew Joey had the upper hand because of this. And I love those guys. I think they're going to be great quarterbacks in the future. But I promise you, those two plays we looked at that Joey made, they wouldn't have been able to do that. It's not because they don't have the arm talent. It's because they don't have the experience. They don't have the pocket presence. They don't have the patience. And Joey does because he's played a lot more football. Right? It wasn't all perfect. There was some bad as well. Some overthrows. Some not perfectly placed balls. But for a guy who's been on campus since May, I really, really enjoyed what I saw. Very, very surprised with what I saw. I thought he was not going to be able to run the offense that efficiently because he's only been there for 3 months. But it looked phenomenal. Nico might be the better thrower. Sure, I'll give you that one. I don't think Joey can put quite the velocity on it. I don't think Joey can throw it probably as far. But what Joey does do is he hits guys when they're wide open, like Braylon Staley down the field. He goes through his progressions, he makes the right reads, makes the right throws, and he never panics. Make sure you got me followed on social media. That's going to do it for today's show. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Joey Peterson on both of those platforms. The links to my social media are also in the comments and description of today's video. I'm going like crazy from Vol Nation on Twitter, so make sure to join me daily, photos, memes, anything you like right there. If you have not yet, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time. Go Big Orange.